What's up, people? It's Strident here with my boy Agent O,
Yo, yo.
and we're about to review Transformers 3: Dark of the Moon.
It's hard to even know where to begin because it's bad in so many ways.
A lot of people said that it was like, it was so much better than the other two, and I think that's like not. Number one, it's not an achievement to be better than shit. You know, shit with corn in it is not really that much better than plain shit. You know, and this was shit with what $300 million corn in it. You know, and it was like whoa. I mean, some of the action was cooler, but overall, I wasn't really like super impressed. You know, and people talk about the final action scene in the movie, or the final hour being so amazing, and it actually, if it was edited properly, it would probably be amazing, you know, because it makes you remember that there was a time where Michael Bay actually could do a coherent action scene, and you'd be like, holy shit, that was actually cool.
And they should have fired whoever edited that movie.
Yeah, they killed a lot of the
horrible
action that way. I mean, there were all these jump cuts from like interesting stuff to like nothing, and I don't understand how that makes. I guess it makes the movie longer, but yeah, slow motion shots of a building are not really interesting, and there was tons of that kind of crap. But overall, everyone knows the plot, so we're not really gonna go into detail about the plot. It's simple. Pretty much, the humans knew, you know, the government already knew about the existence of Autobots and Decepticons, or Cybertronians, whatever you want to call them, and they kept it a secret. And they're trying to say that that's what started the arms race.
The space race.
Yeah, the space race, my bad. Pretty much there is a ploy to trick the Autobots into doing some things that would set, in motion the like kind of semi-resurrection of Cybertron. I think the way I'm describing it makes it sound a little better than what it is, because, yeah, it was kind of a half-assed plan.
If they had done this, like, if someone had written this story for the first movie, it kind of would have made sense. But now that it's the third movie, and there's everybody, all the Autobots and Decepticons forgot that the Ark crash landed somewhere, or
yeah, they never
Megatron never thought, maybe I should, finish my plan that I started when I accidentally crash landed on planet Earth, because that was part of my plan anyway, was to come to Earth.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't really work for me.
Kind of like what we said way back when we had that review, remember? When we did the review of all the trailers.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about how, like,
the plot hole was right there in the trailer.
Exactly. Like, judging from the trailer, you could see where this movie was going to fall flat. And it's not a surprise, because the Michael Bay movies are really weak on story. I won't say that there weren't some cool things in the movie. There were some cool shots, and some of the operations that the military cats were doing was kind of cool. But I still can't buy...
Part of his contractual obligation to the military to make them look good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he has an obsession with the military, because he always has them. I mean, did you notice, like, Bad Boys 2? It went from them being police officers to being, like, paramilitary, and it's like, what? But, I don't know. The movie... I think this is going to be a short review, fairly, because the movie was just... more of the same. Unlike what a lot of people said about Rosie Huntington Whitfield, I think her name is, she wasn't horrible. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. She looked hot, she delivered her lines in a believable tone, and she seemed like the type of chick that would fall for a douchebag like Sam Witwicky. And it's weird.
An incompetent douchebag.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, in the end, he does get shit done, but at the same time, it was kind of like, the fuck, like, he was so cocky. I mean, they kind of improved on Spike from the cartoon, because Spike in the cartoon was a bitch. I was saying this when we were watching it, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess they made him a little bit more believable, but I just didn't understand, like besides the story saying that he needs to lead all these soldiers into all this stuff, like, what makes him like John Connor? Like, pretty much in this movie, he was like John Connor, and he was telling everybody what to do, even though he wasn't the one finding all the information. It kind of felt forced. A lot of shit felt forced. But, like I said, it's a Michael Bay movie, so you don't expect a whole lot of shit from the plot. You just need something to move you from action sequence to action sequence. And a lot of them, I still couldn't really understand everything that was going on. I felt like, I don't know.
Like the part when Optimus was like, he flew in and was, you know, spinning around and cutting people with his jets, and those parts when that shot were like almost half his body, upper body's like off the screen, so you can't even like see what he's hitting.
Yeah, like in an attempt, I guess, to make the movie feel like
it's for the
you
3D.
were right there. No, oh yeah, true. To make you
like,
feel like you're in the middle of the scene.
Yeah.
They like kind of threw out clarity. I mean, like, background elements were clear, but anytime almost any time that the Autobots or Decepticons were in motion, you just really couldn't tell what the hell was going on. And I mean, there were a couple. It wasn't as bad as part 2, because part 2 was just like shit, metal shit rolling and spinning around on the screen in front of a fancy camera, and it didn't work for me.
Getting in the foreground, middle ground, and background, and everything's moving, and all the stuff is colored and, you know, textured and you know,
you had bloody shit, you had corn shit, you had peanuts, you had fucking spinach colored shit, you had icing colored shit, you had all kinds of shit spinning around on screen, and it just wasn't pretty. This movie's a lot like they improved over a lot of that stuff, but still, I just didn't give a shit.
You don't care about the characters. You don't even care. I didn't even care that, like, this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. But whatever.
Yes, you should know what to expect from us by now.
I didn't even care when Ironhide got shot and killed, like, because they never spent enough time in any of the movies developing the Transformers and, you know, showing what makes each individual character a character. Like, there's not even, to me, like, there's not even like visual cues. Like, you know, Ironhide was red, so if you're gonna change his whole look and his whole body, at least keep something that can help us identify who's who. Like, I didn't even know Cliffjumper was the Ferrari until they mentioned it in the movie. Like, they called him by name,
and it's so lame that, like, you had a character who was a Ferrari, you make him a Corvette. You had a character who was a Corvette, and for what reason did they get rid of him? You know what I mean? Like, all these cars were already lined up as what they are. And if you're a fan of the series, you understand what we're saying. You didn't need to change things. Or how, who did they bring back? There's people that they fixed, and there were characters that showed up. Oh, they fixed Bumblebee's voice in the first movie, but it was still broken.
In the very first movie, at the very end, Ratchet fixes his voice, and then at the beginning after the beginning of the second and third movies, his voice is back to being that radio tuner, you know, mix and match stuff.
And I don't know if we're missing something, because, I mean, I kind of...
And how did Megatron end up with that hole in his head?
Yeah, I still don't remember. And I'm not going to go watch the second movie just to find out. Sorry, guys. Like, I really don't give a shit. Like, these movies are the kind of movies
we didn't even pay to see this movie. Not that we advocate people going out and watching movies illegally.
Yes, we found other means to see it, and it still wasn't, even in the condition of what we saw, with our vision being a little bit impaired. Some of the special effects, like CG people, still look weak, whereas like CG everything else looked amazing. I don't know. It just feels like we should all be happy that there will be no more Transformers movies in this form with this team, because every time I look at a modern Transformers toy, it pains me to think that that's what they turned, you know, they've turned these toys, these characters, into that shit that we saw on screen. Like, every Transformer has a vagina for a face. It's just frustrating. It's like, seriously?
A vagina with teeth.
Yeah, with teeth or something. They all have some type of orifice for a face, and I don't think that's cool. And, like, you play games like War for Cybertron, and you see the story unfold in front of you interactively, and it's done better than the bullshit we got for 3 movies. And even the designs, man, it was like things were just too busy. And the fact that they think every alien, Hollywood thinks every alien is fucking crustacean or freaking what is it, arachnid or fucking, you know, insectoid or something like that. It's just annoying, you know. Like, it works with certain things, but it doesn't work with everything. I mean, you turn from a car into a bug, there are Insecticons, you know. Like, I don't know. And considering that we got 3 movies, they didn't really do a lot with the franchise. I mean, you got to see one combiner.
Yeah, and the plots for the movies were almost the same. They were relatively the same. There was always some big conspiracy. There was some secret being held. And,
insert MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to fight to get the MacGuffin, and then when they get the MacGuffin, all hell breaks loose and bullshit. Megatron was underused.
He was a bitch for most of the movie.
Pretty much. And Rosie told him so. Which was kind of nice, because that's what I was feeling. I'm like, what are you doing sitting on garbage and stuff? That's garbage. I don't understand why they would do such a thing, but that's what they did. So, I don't know. It just was whack. It was really whack.
And the fact that a movie that crap, I lost my train of thought.
It was bad.
Yeah, a movie that people that
I think it's supposed to be the gateway for other people who aren't fans to come in and be interested.
Or not even that. Like, the movie doesn't. It's done poorly, and for people to like give it a pass and support it,
it's better than the worst too.
And just because the last 40 minutes was great to them, like if people keep doing that, then they're gonna keep making crappy movies because they know they don't have to put in a lot of imagination if everyone's gonna be satisfied with whatever crap they see.
Yeah, demand more.
You wouldn't like that from your spouse, would you? If she underperforms in certain different things, you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna be like, well, she looks hot, so I'll let it go.
Well, people do it, and that's why they have divorces. Like the divorce rate's so high, actually. Yeah, I got a hot wife, but the hot wife doesn't like follow directions, and she's cheating and blah blah blah. But you can always say you have a hot wife. So does your friend next door or whoever else that she's cheating with. She's kind of doing double duty. But like, I don't think this was enough, considering we waited a long time for them to get it right. I mean, the tone was right. I'll give them that much. It was like some end of the world level shit, and it felt like it. But the way they got us from point A to point B was kind of lame. And I have to agree with another review we saw. First, you give us racist ass depiction of jazz. He represented the urban like young culture and whatnot. And he was like the black character, and you screwed him up. Then you give us the twins, and you further screwed up that stereotype, and you made it seem like black folks and inner city youth are just ignorant. And granted, there are a lot of them that are ignorant. That's how you summed up the whole deal, everything. Then you get, in this one, the 3 NASCAR robots. Not one of them said Rycher or nothing. I wanted one at least. When I was looking at them with the shades and everything, it's like, come on, dude. If you're gonna offend people, just go all out and offend everybody. Don't hold back, but they held back, Like, you should have hired SpongeBob.
They wouldn't have got that NASCAR money then.
Yeah, right. They probably wanted him to say something that was straight up NASCAR related, and we didn't get that. So, I don't know. I would give this movie a rent or bootleg that shit. See a bootleg. Pay $5 for the bootleg. Or borrow your friend's bootleg. Don't even pay money for this movie. It's not
don't
really
even
worth
see it in 3D. It's
3D
not
definitely couldn't be worth it. But I mean, some people said it was. I don't know. If you really have $20 to spend on watching a movie, go do it.
A bad movie in 3D.
Mm-hmm. And do it if that's your thing. If it was left up to me, I say don't do it. I say watch something else. Spend the money on a rental or something else more interesting.
Or if you have to see it in a theater, go see another movie and pay for that one that's actually worth paying for, and just walk into the theater and watch Transformers, because people can't support this kind of like bad movie making. If you like movies and you don't want to, you want to actually pay your hard-earned money to go see a flick that's good or that's put together well, and you're supporting that, then I don't know what to tell you. You're
pretty much getting your money's worth. It's a lot of shiny things and a lot of flashy things, and a lot of money went into the movie, but it's not a well-crafted movie. I mean, some people said that the action was so good and blah blah blah, but for a movie about transforming robots to turn into cars, the heroes actually turn into mostly cars. You didn't get a lot of car combat at all. None whatsoever. Actually, that shot, there's like a handful of shots that you saw in the trailer where they're in like attack mode in their car form, vehicle form, and exactly what you saw in the trailer was the amount of action you got in the film, which was like, what? There was a highway scene and you didn't even get You didn't even get a whole lot of what you call it, like action in there with them in their vehicle forms. It was lame. But I don't know.
And the Autobots were so inept. Like,
yeah, tripping.
they were
and rolling
like the
around
Decepticons had like 100,000 like enemies or allies, and then the Autobots had like there was only 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, I feel like it was done on purpose so that they could make the military look cool too.
Yeah, they tried to make the military the 10th Autobot.
Yeah,
and that just felt stupid. It felt. I mean, I know they're there, but they. In the books and even in the cartoon, the military cannot hold a candle to these aliens. The whole point of them being aliens is to take the combat and action to another level. You can't tell me that the U.S. military, with their bullets and their nukes and their missiles, should be on par with these guys. Otherwise, what's the point in having the Autobots?
Yeah.
And I think we said this before. We said this in the review that we did about the trailers. That the movie spent too much time trying to develop the humans, that they underdeveloped the main attraction of the film. And
the humans weren't even developed very well.
Yeah, true. Still, everyone's still at point B. Or point A, I mean.
And some people were in the movie and didn't even need to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots of people.
But
it was just like that with all the other 3 films.
1 and 2. Yeah, so yeah. Once again, don't waste your money. Get a bootleg from someone for free. Borrow someone's bootleg.
Wait till it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix.
If you're gonna pay money, go to the dollar theater. Or just, I don't know. Any other means that would avoid you paying money to see this movie would make it worth it. That's really all there is to say about the movie. Buy the old school toys and relive your childhood with Transformers and imagine what this would be like as a movie. Or go
play War for Cybertron.
Exactly, or spend that money on the animated film. There you go. And you'd be happier. And you'd be singing along with the movie. Yeah, so all in all, to this movie we say completely no. Don't pay money for it. You could avoid it and you'll feel better. No.
Free movie day for that movie.
No. Alright, people. That's pretty much all we have to say. So we're out. Peace.
Peace outside.